Welcome to the Jobs and Work podcast. If you're like most Americans, you spend a significant amount of your time working. In fact, we spend more time at our jobs than anywhere else. But how often do we really talk about work in America? On this podcast, the Work for Change team will. Work for Change, LLC is a team of social scientists, thought leaders, and digital storytellers who dig into the critical issues affecting American workers and workplaces today. Our podcast is co-hosted by Dr. Kendra Jason and myself, Dr. Chris Maycumber. We'll also bring guests onto the show who reflect the diversity of the American workforce. We are so excited for you to join us as we lead the efforts to humanize the workplace by building dignity and equity into jobs, work, and organizations. Please subscribe to the podcast and share us with your friends and family. You can learn more about Work for Change at workforchangellc.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Jobs and Work podcast, where we talk about all things related to jobs and work. This is episode number 17, and today we have a small business owner on our show. I'm your co-host, Chris Maycumber.
And I'm co-host Kendra Jason. Today we have small business owner Swanda Warren. Thank you for joining us today, Swanda.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks. So just a quick bio so we know who Swanda is. So Swanda is a graduate of North Carolina Central University, and she got her master's degree from UNC Greensboro. She is an entrepreneur, of course, of a wonderful small business called EARresistable by SwansDesign, where she designs bold, beautiful statement earrings. She also does other things like ministry work. She's an active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She is my sorority sister. And her favorite scripture in this point of her life is, "For with God, nothing will be impossible," which comes from Luke 1:37. So again, welcome, Swanda. We're so glad to have you. I have been, I was telling Chris that when we started this podcast back in January, and we had this bring small business owners on, you were immediately one of the people that I thought about inviting on, because I've been following you in the inception and the creation of your business. Mm-hmm. So can you just tell us how EARresistable got started and what's your journey that led you there?
Oh my gosh, it's going to sound strange, but I'm going to share it anyways.
Okay.
So I've always been a creative, creating things from anything. My mom, my dad, my siblings are all creative as well. Cosmetologists, work on computers. Dad wrote music. Mom just had the gift of creativity. So one of my friends, his name is Gerard Smith. He was transitioning to another place of worship. They were going on a corporate fast. So he was like, "Swan, can you go on this fast with me? Because I'm at this new place and I just need somebody that I know to go on the fast with me." So I went on the fast with him. The fast wasn't for me, but I got something out of it. I came out of the fast and it was clear as day, make earrings. I'm like, God, wow. Out of all the things I can do with my hands and my mind, earrings. Now, listen, I didn't know anything about putting a earring, a post, a fish hook, wood, metal. I didn't know anything about that. So I had to teach myself how to do it. And I looked at some YouTube videos like, okay, I got this idea, but how do I put it all together? And that's how I started EARresistable by SwansDesign in 2018. And since then, the sky's the limit. Have I messed up on creations? Yes, but some of those mess up has been my greatest creation. I'm like, I don't like this, but other people love it. But that's how EARresistable by SwansDesign started.
That is so exciting. I didn't know that was your story. That is such a great testament to having an impulse to create, but not necessarily having to know what it's about. I think that is so exciting for people out there who are creative, who want to do maybe work for themselves or, start their own business, but feel like they're not ready because they don't have the exact skills yet. So it sounds like for you, you didn't have to have everything lined up. You teach yourself, right? And you kind of go at your own pace, knowing that you're interested in what you do and that the creativity will kind of guide you through that. Wow, that is really exciting story.
And here's the one thing. So I was like, God, if you gave me this idea, this conception during a fast, you are going to definitely make provisions, right? You with you, all things are possible. So I know that the limitation is limitless with him. And so that's exactly the steps and the mindset that I have now. Like, God, okay, now you told me this now. So what's the next idea? What's the next collection? Who am I reaching? So I like to try to inspire people with my pieces and have a story behind it, because I just don't want to create, right? So even if nobody else can connect with it, which I think they do most of the time, because people inbox me like, I can't afford to buy it right now, but let me tell you, I love the description. That is so me in this season of my life. And sometimes I'm like, do I really want to say this? What if I offend somebody by saying this? And I'm just like, well, it's my interpretation, right? And you can't please everybody. Like, I'm not for everybody. And that's the thing about when you start a business, you're not going to be for everybody, and you're not going to have every duck in a row. You're not going to have every line in a row. You're not going to have every I dot, every T cross. You're not going to have everybody around you that you need. But if you're consistent and you keep going, those things will line up. Period.
Such great advice. That's awesome.
It's amazing, because like I basically stalked SwansDe's website, and I've always been just amazed that her earrings are so unique. And she has collections, she has themes. Each earring has a name, and sometimes you put a description as well. And you can just feel the depth of the earring, or the meaning of the earring by the name and description. And so even when I wear, because I'm a customer of SwansDesign, she created these custom earrings for me today, my Work for Change logo earrings. They feel empowering. They feel like I'm representing something, that I'm standing in something, right? And I believe, like Swanda, you have your inspiration and your motivation and your calling over these earrings, but when they're purchased, they become something for the customer that may transcend your idea or not, And so I always just thought it was just like so cool. So there was one question when I was reading your bio. So you are on the youth ministry team, and you have a theme. You said mission not impossible, right? And then you also have this scripture where you said, with God, nothing will be impossible. So there's a theme there, that sense of, nothing is impossible. So how does that fit into your inspiration with EARresistable?
Literally, when I start to sit down and create, I turn on music. And it doesn't have to be gospel music. It just needs to be music that speaks to me, or music that can soothe me or put my mind at ease. And I do a lot of journaling and writing, and I get inspiration literally from nature, because I keep thinking, like, the main creator, the author of creativity is God the Father. He started that back in Genesis, and he spoke a lot of things. And sometimes when we don't see a thing, we still can speak a thing. And sometimes you can't speak a thing to a lot of people because they can't see your vision, right? Because your vision may be bigger than what their mind can conceptualize. And sometimes it's okay. It's okay when people don't understand you. So then you got to produce it. So sometimes seeing is believing for some people, but it can be the opposite for a creator. Like, you can think it and then you can produce it. But for other people, they got to see it to purchase it, right? It just makes sense to do that. And like you were saying earlier, Kendra, when I create, I want women to feel bold, beautiful, empowered, out of the box. So a lot of women are like, I wear the same hoops every day, or I never wore something past 1 inch. I'm like, just try it. Like, if you don't like something to touch your neck, then you can get something that's a little smaller, like something that's 2 inches. Like, this is 3 inches, but but I don't wear big earrings every day. It's the if I want to make a statement, and like, these are called spiral, and I always can start a conversation with like, oh my gosh, I remember when my life was spiraling out of control. I had to focus. I had to get a handle of what was causing the spiraling effect. And there's a conversation. Now you have empowered somebody else, and you're wearing the earring, and they didn't even purchase it. So now you're passing on the gift of words, the gift of encouragement, the gift of love, the gift of, like sisterhood or brotherhood, to remind them that you are amazing. Like, you can wear your situation and still smile through it, right? Because it's all about an inner work that happens. And so you can have all this stuff on the outside, right? You can buy my earrings, but if you don't stop and say, hey, what else can I do to reflect on who I am and where I'm going, who I'm becoming? And so that's why I always think for, with, like those are two prepositions. So the for and with God, all things are possible. Like, how else is it going to be possible? Because we get tired in these human suits. we say, oh my gosh, there are 1,000 people making jewelry. Like, literally, that can overwhelm your thoughts. And you can be like, well, why do I need to continue? But if you have purpose in your business, then you're going to know why you need to continue. And I know, even when I get tired, yes, I work a full-time job too, another job. So you get tired in your pursuit sometimes, but then you remember your why, you remember your purpose, you remember your audience, and you keep going. So therefore, I know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Even in my weakness, I'm strong because of him. That's if I keep my focus there. Now, there's sometimes I be slipping in the brain like, girl, but you got to remember your why. You got to remember who's the source of your strength. And sometimes your friends can be that source for a moment. They be like, girl, you can do it. Keep going. Because, I mean, if we're honest, we do get tired in the pursuit of whatever our purpose is, because we're human. So with our ministry, like when we were with the youth, that's the same thing we want to instill in them. Like, you can be anything you want to be. Like literally anything. You don't have to be what your parents want you to be. You need to be what you want to be. You need to be what you're purposed to do. It might be something that's not even done yet, but you're the pioneer, you're the trailblazer to do it, and you can do it. Just sit down, research, right? Spend time with Abba Father, and he will give you the blueprint. Like, that's what I tell people. We're so busy that sometimes we don't have time to sit and reflect and think and to journal and to meditate and to reflect. Even as youth, I'm like, TV, even adults. But I'm like, if you sit and focus your time, do what other people are not doing. Do that, and then you can have a trail. You can be that leader, even at 15, 16, 17. So that's what we tell them, like, mission is not impossible. Will you fail sometimes? Absolutely. But if you fail forward, you can get back up and you can look up and keep on going. But if you fall and you don't have nothing to anchor you, then you're going to feel like you have cement bricks on your feet, on your mind, on your hands, and everything's going to seem impossible. When we know that the mission is possible if we have the creator on our side. Like, really, you can do all things. Literally everything.
Your energy is so what I need in my life. You have such a great energy, and your passion for what you do is contagious. I wanted to ask something real quick, Swanda, that you had touched upon in that about having a full-time job. So what's your process of how do you fit both your full-time job and your artwork in? Like, for those who are wanting to do that, who have a full-time job, who feel cemented down, who feel that anchor, how do you make it work?
So the one thing, so I work from 9 to 5, and I work with different teachers and directors and early educators. So I work with teachers from birth through kindergarten. And so there lies another way that you can empower, and another way that I remind them that the mission is not impossible, because they're working with classrooms filled with beautiful children who need to be molded. They need to be guided. They need to know that their trajectory of life can be as smooth as anybody else, no matter what their socioeconomic status is, no matter what is going on in their lives right now, because in the early years is when that brain is developing, it's growing. And so they need those nurturers as teachers, those essential workers to be there every day. And sometimes teachers, we know they don't get paid no money, but they have a classroom filled with those beautiful infants and toddlers and 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s. And we know since the pandemic, they've been working nonstop since then. Yeah. They didn't get a break to work from home. No, because some parents still had to go to work. And so I absolutely love that. I love when the light bulb goes off on teachers and directors and owners. So I do a lot of training. And the main training I do now is called classroom scoring assessment system. and it's where it's all about interaction. So teachers, I'm not coming in to count your blocks. I'm not coming in to see how many pieces of artwork you have up. I'm not coming in to see a family background. I'm not coming in to do an assessment on the children or on you. I'm coming to look at your interactions and how those interactions impact children in the classroom, and how do they respond to what you are doing so that they can thrive in your classroom. So I absolutely love that. So that is not like, oh, I just ready to, no, I love it. That's what I went to school for.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. Don't ask me why, because people are like, I don't know. That it's just what I like to do. And so then I come home but like I've been working from home now for a whole year since the pandemic. And literally, like throughout the day, like things be coming to my mind, like just having conversation with people, looking at like designs they have on their clothing and patterns. And it's because when I'm at my office, I have a big window right here, so I can see like lots of people coming in and out of the building. You see nature, and just things just speak to my spirit, right? Because I want to sound weird, because but things just speak to my spirit. And then I just kind of like draw it. I'm not a drawer, but listen, I would sketch me a sketch right now and be like, what was that? What was I thinking? So sometimes I got to write underneath there, okay, so here was the thought pattern behind it. So if I can't even recognize my sketch, I can look at my words and they can kind of guide me back to what I was thinking. And there's a difference if you're working a 9 to 5. And Miles Monroe said this. Miles Monroe is from the island, but he's now deceased, died in a car crash. And he's a renowned pastor, minister. And he said a thing that really stuck to me. And I hope I don't twist it up. But he was saying that a job is your 9 to 5. But your passion is what you do from 5 until maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. Because that's the thing that's going to get you off the job, that 9 to 5. That's the thing that sometimes really get you in your calling, in your purpose, in your ministry. And sometimes your 9 to 5 can do that, right? They can bridge, they can align, they can collapse, they can merge. But sometimes they may not. Really depends on what position you have. But you can't let that 9 to 5 keep you from doing what needs to start at 5 or 6. That's your passion. Because once you retire from that 9 to 5, you know what they're gonna give you, baby? A clock, maybe, a pen that said you served for 30 years, but you have not really served in purpose. You haven't served the world at the capacity that you have. And most of the time, when you retire, you're ready to retire. You're ready to get in a rocking chair, hold some grandkids, travel the world. And sometimes your purpose has been forgotten and you really haven't exposed the world to your inner. You might have exposed a group of people because you align with what you were supposed to do in your job. But when you start doing your passion, that's that thing that keeps you going when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to get up at 9. You relax and get up like this. Hey guys, what's up? And so if you don't, then you miss out. And you can ask people and they tell me, if you could go back and do something else, what would you do? I bet you it'd be something that aligns with their passion. And so that's why, and I think now that a lot of school systems are requiring that you do community service. So you can find things that you like to do. Yes, go and be a doctor, go and be a nurse, go and be a psychologist, go and be a therapist, go and be whatever you want to be. It might not even require you to have a degree, but you got to have a passion to do. Like I love when I run into somebody at whatever store and they have a passion to be there. Like sometimes you can run into people, you're like, oh, you got a different calling. Like you need to be doing more than welcome to Walmart. You need to be doing more than you, because you can hear it, you can tell if you were in tune. So if you're walking in your purpose, you can help somebody else align with their purpose because you'll be able to say the things you need to say and not be envious of them. Right? There's somebody that can create jewelry better than me. Trust and believe I've seen it. I'm not gonna be jealous of them. Matter of fact, I might inbox them and be like, hey, I'm a creator. Is there any way that we can align? Do you have any classes coming up? Versus saying, you know what, I'm not even gonna look at their page because they might take my wrong attitude right there. So that's the distinction between a job and a business with purpose.
I had to take notes to remember
all. She was writing that down too.
because you said a word, you said a few. I just want to reiterate like 3 quick things because it really aligns with the messaging that Chris and I, give our clients, our potential, our friends who are interested in their own business. Number 1 is that when we have a starting your own business workshop, one of the main tenets of that workshop is that we really push that business owner, potential business owner, to find themselves in their business, to center themselves in that business, because anybody can make earrings, anybody can do consulting, anybody can bake bread, but they can't do it like you. And so people will attract to you, and we try to really, and I'm just reiterating what you're saying. It doesn't matter how many people do it, because they don't do it like you. So don't get intimidated by how many are out there doing it, because no one is you. The second thing that I had to write down notes is that I think a lot of people miss the idea that they have more than one passion, that they're good for more than one thing, right? That they're multifaceted. And so just like you, Chris and I also have a calling in pedagogy and teaching and training, and we instill in the next generation, and we do, we instill these values, and we hope that we're crafting the next generation of future leaders and thought leaders, right? But also we pour into and want to invest in business owner and empowerment in the community. And it's not that we have to give one up for another. So I think another thing that intimidates people or is a mental barrier is some people say, well, I'm really good at my job. I feel like I have purpose in my 9 to 5. Yes, you do, but that does not mean that you don't have a greater purpose or another purpose that does not serve some corporation. It can be serving for you and your community. And then the last thing, again, I had to take notes because you said so much. I really love how, you were thinking about, or you talked about, the energy is not draining. It's the energy to continue. So if you like your 9 to 5 or don't, it's something about owning your own business and investing in yourself that energizes and empowers you in a way to give you what you need to keep going. And that doesn't mean, like you said, and even Justin and Courtney said it a few weeks ago, it's not that you don't get tired. It's not that it doesn't become longstanding, but at the same time, you can prevail through it, right? And it's a different type of challenge, it's one for you. And so I just wanted to respond to those, because everything you said aligns with Chris and I really try to embed in the people that, we come across as well, if you do business with us or not. So I want to say that.
That was good. That was good. And I seen that, there's 1,000 memes and everything out there in social media. And the one meme that stands out to me is somebody that has like the grocery store. I don't know if it's Walmart or Target, and they have like 15 different brands of bread on the shelf.
Oh yeah.
So once you go to the shelf, you pick what you like, ma'am. And the other bread beside it is not gonna be mad because they're not even there to see it. So you present your best self when you're on the shelf, when you at a vending event, when you create your website, when you are speaking before an audience. And that's how you would stand out as irresistible. That's how you would stand out as work for less. That's how you would stand out as whatever you are operating as your business.
I've been thinking about people who want to start their own business, particularly creative types who are artistic and who are hesitant because of the logistics of business, right? All the things that are not necessarily creative, that are not inspirational. And I've talked to particularly some women who say, what's holding me back is all of the business, like the keeping up with the accounting and the finances and managing a business. So as a creative, artistic person, what is your advice to them for how do you sort of manage all of that other logistical stuff that might not be fun and creative?
So everything is not going to be fun and creative. And here is the key. You're not going to know how to do everything as a creator, as a business owner. This is when you put pride to the side and hire what you do not know how to do. So if that means mom, that means sister, if that means friend, if that means let me put out an ad, if that means whatever that means to you, you can hire your deficiency. And sometimes we try to put on a lot of hats and then we become like Amelia Bedelia. We are all out of sync. We're all out of whack. We can't balance all of that. And then we start to regret the blessing of the business because we don't have the skills to logistically operate the other part. There are many parts, like you were saying, a website. Yes, it's fun and creative, but what about the things that happen behind the scenes when you're looking at the website from a different perspective of what you don't see, right? So you're doing it kind of backwards. You're putting all that information in there and keeping up with your sales per month, keeping up with your social media, keeping up with, okay, well, what am I going to send this in to the customer? So you got to have all your product branding. Do I want to have a branded box? Do I want to have branded tissue paper? Do I want to have branded stickers? Do I want to have branded, but what do I want? And those things can keep evolving. So you might say, well, I don't have the money to pay somebody. Fine. Then you might have to balance that at first, but then you will get help. I'm a firm believer. If you ask, somebody will respond. But if you don't ask, can't nobody hear your cry. Can't nobody hear that you need something. And so this is why networking is so important, because you're going to meet somebody that can connect with you, that's going to help make your business better. But if you don't know how to do it, hire somebody to do it. Fund your weakness. Hire somebody for that. But a lot of times we don't do that because now somebody's gonna know how much money I'm making. Now somebody gonna know where I get my stickers from. Now somebody gonna know that I'm really struggling at night. Like, really, it's okay. Like, somebody needs to hear the real struggle. Yeah. and they really do need to hear that struggle, so they know that, okay, wait a minute, I love this, but okay, so I do know there's gonna be some nights that I might be up late, or there might be some months that my sales are low. Or I'm going to pre-plan ahead of time. Be like, Mother Day is coming up. What am I going to do? What's going to be my branding for that month? 2 months ahead of time. And sometimes when you're new to it, you're like, oh, shoot, I should have already been advertising for that. I should have already created that. And you're behind a little bit. Because if somebody else is more skilled and they have somebody that's gifted in that area, or they purpose to do that area, or that's just what they do, then they may have already advised their person, their business owner, okay, you need to go ahead and get it. Okay, do you see that Walmart wait a week before to start advertising for Mother's Day or for graduation or whatever the holiday that's coming up? No, they do it ahead of time. You're like, why they already got our Christmas stuff? Why they already? Okay, they triggering your mind. But it's all about branding, so you can remember, oh, this holiday is coming up. You know what? I need to get in this mindset. They're already reminding you. That's the thing about when you are in the social media streets. Because here's the thing. You might think, oh, if I post one time a day, once a week, once a month, everybody can remember me. No. You know how many people out there promoting? Lots of people. Lots of people. So you got to come with your A game as much as you can. And whatever that means, because my friend, she was like, Swan, you got to post at least 2 times a day. I was like, girl, I'm going to get on people's nerves. She was like, when you go to an Old Navy website, or when you go to any other business website, they send your email like 2 to 3 times a day to remind you have something in your cart. Oh, I saw you looking at this thing. Are you still interested? I'm going to send it to you in 5 different colors so you know that we have options for you. So it's all about marketing. So that means that somebody is behind these companies, these big companies that they're paying major money for to market, because that's how they get in the business. And so sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if people get tired of these, but I'm like, okay, then just keep on flipping through.
And it's so interesting that you say that, because all the people that I look up to, you're included, which you've been included for a very long time. They give the same messaging. One thing that, we were just talking about Lovey Jones a couple weeks ago, and one of her main mantras is fire yourself. Like, stop trying to do it all. Like, don't try to be your secretary and your content driver and everything else. Fire yourself. And like, I wrote down so many things you said. Fund your weakness and hire your deficiency, Swandaism. And so, so I think I just want to thank you again so much, Swanda, for spending this morning with us and energizing us and showcasing your earrings. Swanda's website is below, EARresistable by SwansDesign. So please click on that and check her out. Check us out too. Work for Change. Chris and I, we do training, we do workshops. We have a Start Your Own Business workshop that's really, really great in June. So please like, subscribe, and share. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and of course, you found us here on YouTube. So please like, subscribe, and share so we can work to make the world of work better.
Yes. Hey.